everything that's been added into the game. Characters are now able to push vehicles. The designated marksman rifle with a 10 and 20 round magazine has been added into the game. This is the M14. The field shovel has been added. Padded gloves have been added. The winter quiff has been added. The OKZK hat has been added. The Petushok hat has been added. The Firefighter M3S Rec has been added. They've added sounds for crafting rags. They've added sounds for unequipping the pipe wrench. They've added sounds from placing a claymore mine. They've added sounds for crafting fireplaces. They've added sounds for crafting a hand drill kit. There's a major overhaul to the skybox and its textures. They've done a major overhaul of the Vyborg Air Base, or the Norwest Airfield. Now let's get on to everything that has been fixed in this update. Objects behind the player would not always cast shadows from dynamic lights. The drain/pour sound could get stuck while jumping during the action. The sound of emptying a bottle was still played after interrupting the action. The gas stove was playing baked sounds even without food. While boiling food, the sound of frying would be played. The camera was not following the character correctly when falling unconscious while jumping. Throwing in prone when turning could result in the character turning on its stomach. Deploying the fishnet trap would spawn it above the water's surface. Fixed instances of several items not causing stagger when used for heavy melee attacks. Shots fired with double fire would not register properly. God rays from the sun would shine through the horizon. Reduced clipping issues with several clothing items. Hunting jackets did not have their damage textures when equipped. While jumping, picking up items could result in desync. Fix the texture glitch on the character ankles when wearing dress shoes without pants. Damage status of canned was never shown on the food inside the cans. Baked penny bun mushrooms had no texture. Fixed exploits and structures. Items would not get wet when put into a barrel filled with water. The watchtower roof would block the selection of other items on the second floor. Certain animations to equip an item will be played twice when triggered. Entering ADS of a weapon with a scope while throwing the weapon could result in a broken HUD. It was possible to see through certain textures with the selected scopes. Some two-handed melee weapons had broken attack animations. When disarming an improvised explosive after a server restart, the explosives inside could not be removed. Fix an exploit to access medium tents from outside. Digging up worms close to the objects could cause the character to get stuck. Fix an animation related to exploits to look through the walls. Fix an instance of desynced hand slots through the equipment action. Certain door sounds in the prison building were too quiet. Respawn after dying in unconscious state would trigger a confirmation request. An alarm tied to an improvised explosive will keep ringing after the explosion in certain cases. With some optics, the view would shift to the right when looking through them. Shooting large amount of bullets indoor could result in sounds being played with delay. The image of the pair when held in hands was cropped in the inventory. It was not possible to bury a dry bag. The clapping gesture was playing the wrong sound when having certain food items in hand. The stone oven could be extinguished by rain. And they fixed the config animation path for the BK13. And now we get on to the change stuff. This change section is also pretty major, so let's go through everything in that. They removed the redundant sound during the gas canister explosion. Disable shadows for fireworks and reduce their light radius to reduce their performance impact. Increase maximum bandwidth limits of client to server traffic to reduce movement desync when firing weapons. They updated the game's credits. They renamed the fire mode on the crossbow from semi-auto to single. The clutch on the M3S now triggers faster. Increased inertia of the M3S. Slightly adjusted the weight of the M1025 off-road to be able to climb up climbing hills. Adjusted explosion sounds and ranges. Tweaked the red tracer bullets for better visibility. And they adjusted vehicles for better control on grass. So again, a lot of changes there. Obviously the most major one being the overhaul to the skybox, and then we also have changes to vehicles as well, just to make them better off-road and going up hills, which is great to see. Now they've also done some changes to the central economy, to the Generous map and to the Livonia map as well, so let's go through those now. The central economy, they reduced the spawning of warm hats to account for newly added items, which would be the new hats that were added in. For Generous, they've added overhead lines for the railway network. They have moved the AS Val and the VSS spawns from the contaminated areas to higher tier military areas and increased their numbers. They have moved the VSD and the FAL to contaminated areas and decreased their numbers. And they have moved the AK-74, the AK-74U and the M16A2 to higher military tier spawns. For Livonia, base building items can no longer be placed in the Livonia underground. They moved the AS-FAL and the VSS from the contaminated areas to higher military areas. And they moved the VSD and the AUG from military to contaminated areas and decreased their numbers as well. Now there is a few more things for server and modding type stuff, but again, I don't go through them because I don't know what a lot of it is about, but that is a lot of changes and a pretty major update overall. There is some known issues as well to be aware with this update. DMR might have glitched animations while shooting in prone, but there is a fix for this already in testing. The sun and the moon are not in all cases displayed as desired. When entering a false password, access to the server might be prevented until server restart. And cars can be pushed from far away or from the roof, and there is a fix in place for that already. So, that is everything for DayZ Update 123. It is quite a lot of stuff. It's looking really, really good. We finally get a new weapon in DayZ, and then Northwest Airfield sounds really, really good. Also going to be interested to see what the new skybox is going to be like, and pushing vehicles is another major change. So, let me know your thoughts on this update down below. Definitely one of the biggest updates of the year, and I'm excited to try it out live later on today right here on YouTube. So that's it for this video.